face.
To matriculate.
Matriculate. Oh, Goon. We are. Wait, why is this so like?
Oh, I'll be going in the bag, so.
No, you're good. You're good. We're gonna have some people start to. Oh my gosh! All right. Welcome in. Okay, we're going live. Here we go.
Hola.
Oh boy. Hold on. Everybody, bear with me for 1 second here. We'll let some people start to trickle in here. Welcome into the Behind the Wall post-game show. I'm here with Big Keith Goon Conlin, and we are talking Penn State, SMU, and a little bit of Penn State Fiesta Bowl as well. Goon, thoughts? Yesterday, it was cold. How was your tailgate?
That's all that matters, right?
That's the first go-to with Goon. We got to
man.
figure out how the tailgate was.
Well, obviously, it starts Friday afternoon with everybody coming in and out of town. I have the football Letterman's party over at Football Letterman's Club. Get together. There's about 40, 50 guys there. Good time.
That happened. Oh, I missed out. Well, I guess I technically still wasn't a Letterman
You're
yet.
a Letterman now.
I'm a Letterman now,
Congratulations,
officially.
by the way.
Thank you very much.
The man to my left, Mr. Landon Tangwell, is a college graduate as of 1 o'clock today.
Yeah, like 3 o'clock, I think.
Yeah.
But as soon as I went in Thursday morning, I had a final class. We were working with a 75 in Knies 100. And look, I'm a pretty good student. I carried around like a 3.4 here my entire time.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Well, I did broadcast journalism, Goon, because semester one, I was business management, and I went in. I've told this story. I went to my accounting exam in Pollock, and I opened it up, and I said, "Okay, I'm done." So I left. I put C for every answer, and I got out of there. And I texted my advisor, and I said, "Look, we're going to somewhere else. I think we're going to COM." It was either COM or RPTM. I needed something easy, and so went to COM, and ended up doing the rest of my life and following Big Goon's footsteps here in State College, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. So yeah, absolutely, a graduate of Pennsylvania State University and a part of the Letterman's Club now too. So
Congrats,
definitely, thank you very much.
Yeah,
but
so it starts Friday.
Starts Friday. Okay.
And I have my usual get together at the Quicker Second Lube.
Ooh.
Friday night with all the days of me and a lot of my friends and family waiting in line to go to bars are well over.
It was too cold to wait in bars yesterday.
I don't care if it was 100 or 90 or 87 degrees. I'm not waiting in lines anywhere.
Well, I'll tell you, if you come to State College, this is well before I really knew who Goon was. I think we had 2 to 3 run-ins maybe at Quaker Steak and Lube. Mm-hmm. I would say before we actually knew each other.
Did my shows there. You came out of surgery. Your pops took you there.
Yep. You saw me right after the surgery in the sling, and I think I was like probably high on like oxycodone or something.
Your dad's like, yeah, he's not talking right now. You're like,
no. Yes, and just to be clear, a doctor prescribed oxy, not just to be clear. But yeah, a lot of surgeries, and I would always catch Goon for sure. So, Goon yesterday. I think the person.
Hold on, we get up.
Oh, all right.
Friday night,
Friday night. Okay, how did Friday night end for you?
We got the Notre Dame, Indiana games. That was great.
That was a whooping.
Oh yeah,
and
all of them were.
Kurt, every game was decided by 10 or more points, so not good for the crowd that wants to expand college football even more. Yep. I think we're going to see more and more blowouts.
But we'll get into it. And then if the AC or the SEC wants to complain about Indiana and SMU being in the playoffs, and they marched Tennessee out there like they did last night, and they got absolutely trounced.
Oh,
I mean, just embarrassed. Ohio State looked damn good last night, by the way.
They look clean.
That was the Ohio State that everybody had suspected was going to come out this year, and they showed up finally yesterday. But the SEC complaining about Alabama and Ole Miss, they lost to Tennessee. So let's put all that together.
Yeah.
So they're complaining about us being in there and playing SMU and Indiana not playing anybody getting blown out by they lost by more points to Ohio State than Indiana did. So.
We had Lane Kiffin constantly on Twitter just whining the whole day. It started Friday night, and then it went into Saturday after SMU, and then after the 4 p.m. game too. And he's saying, "Where's the SEC? We need to be in there." And then the SEC team almost was very close to being actually the biggest blowout, bigger blowout than what we gave to SMU. So I thought that was really funny. And look. You lose to a 4-win team, sorry, you're not allowed. You lose to a 4-win Kentucky, You're not allowed to be in the playoffs. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't really care what you have to say, Lane Kiffin.
Alabama got beat by Tennessee. Tennessee walked out there against Ohio State last night and just got absolutely mauled. So that's our Friday night. We're home. We're in bed watching that game. We had to bed about midnight, and then we got up at 5.
Wait. Can we talk about Kurt Cignetti wants to come in? Who is, if you don't know, that is Indiana's head coach. He came over from JMU.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of buddies at JMU. They loved playing for him. Huge Cignetti fans. And so, first off, he is the guy. He came in and he said, "I win. Google me." That is what he said. And look, he did it. I'll give him that. But at the same time, he comes in, the team walks in, and he goes straight to the set of College Game Day 2 hours before his team's going to play. And look, I know we're in a different world of podcasting and where we sit right now and selling the program. And I'm sure he might have gotten paid money to do it. I'm sure he did. But that's a bad look. I'm sorry. And not only that, it wasn't like he just went on, said 2 words and just got off. He said, "We beat the crap out of top 25 teams. That's what we do." No, you don't actually, because you just got whooped right after that. I mean, it was one of the most embarrassing things. And then put all that aside, he's down 3 scores. There's 10 minutes left. It's the last game of the season if you lose no matter what. And they punt it down 3 scores with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's waving the white flag. I surrender. It's over. So who knows what Indiana is going to be in the future. We do have them on our schedule next year. Has been a little talk of possibly, I don't know, Bo Perbula is looking at a couple Big Ten schools. So maybe we'll see a familiar foe down the road here. But
you have an answer of, I mean, you don't have to answer this. But we have guys we watched play this weekend who are in the portal, who have said they're going to go in the portal. Quinn Ewers being one. He's out there playing. Why did Bo feel he didn't want to play in this? He wanted to get away from the team.
Yeah, I've talked about this.
Okay,
I've talked about this all week. Obviously, I'm certain things I talk about and certain things I don't.
Yes.
Because with me being very close to the team,
I would not want to put you in that position.
Yeah. No, but this is something that I feel like Franklin has said, and that's why I put it out there. James Franklin was very clear with us from the beginning. The transfer portal's been a thing, but the moment it became you can hop in whenever, Franklin said, "Hey, if you want to go to the portal, whatever, I'm not going to stop you from trying to do something, but you will not be here." So as soon as the moment Franklin gets word that you entered the portal, he sends text right down to the equipment guys, lockers cleaned out. That's how it works. We don't do half in, half out at Penn State. That's not how we are. That is, as a letterman, as you know, we're trying to keep it as pure as possible in this just devilish world of college football that we're in now. And so shout out to Coach Franklin. Do I think Coach Franklin wanted to be without his backup quarterback or a player that he gives 6 to 8 snaps a game? Absolutely not. And Franklin even said, I think it was a little bit of a smokescreen. He said in his press conference, he's too big of a part of our offense to get rid of the package. We're just going to run the package with different chess pieces, which we really didn't. I was thinking that would mean Tyler Warren, like 6 to 8 snaps at quarterback. I think we just took it out of the offense because it wasn't like he said that, but it wasn't like a vital part of the offense. It's not like we needed it. But, there's a couple things in that conversation too. But talking from Bo's side of it, of things, with the transfer portal, it ends here in ends in 6 days.
28th.
The 28th. And now there is the fact that if you are playing in the playoffs, you get 5 days after your last game. So if you win, you still have 5 days after your last game to enter the portal. That is afforded.
That's just there's a 5-day window for guys who competed.
Yes, for guys who compete.
SMU guys are now in the portal until the 28th.
Yes, they don't have any extra days because the 28th, it closes on the 28th anyway.
I thought anybody who competed in the playoff would possibly be in that, but no, you're right.
Yeah, from the day of it being over, you have 5 days. So like I said, it doesn't really affect anybody losing in the first round because it ends on the 28th anyways.
Take my hat off to James for doing that and standing by what he said, because there are coaches who will definitely say some stuff like that and they'll be like, well, the winning's more important, but that's not the case. It's the team that's more important. Because I've asked you before, I have said this to you before, that if there's guys who try to come to my dining table with the football team and they're in the transfer portal, bro, you're not eating with me. Friend or not. It's a business decision. I get that. I understand the whole concept of the whole thing. But you're not part of us no more. Go over to the hub, get your own, go to the hub and eat your dinner. I don't want to sit there and, again, we're friends, and if you leave, that's fine. But a lot of these guys just leave because they don't want to compete. I mean, you tell me, you're involved with it.
Well,
the thing about the newest, this generation is the portal. I love the NIL. I love the guys get profit sharing in this, and we finally get what we're deserving of. But it's the transfer portal. Anytime there's any kind of, it just seems like, oh, I'm not starting, I'm leaving. Like, dude, you gotta wait your turn. I mean, but then again, there are yeses and nos and pros and cons to all of this, because I could sit there and say, I didn't start full time until my third year.
You would have been out of here.
I know that.
You would have been out.
That's none of us did.
You think you would have left.
We also had 25 more scholarships.
Which we are going back. We're going back to that.
We are going back to 105. So there's not the, let me try to think, there's not that pressure to be competing as a true freshman. And there's guys who were not physically ready. I mean, I didn't play high school offense. I played defensive line in high school. I didn't play offensive line until I got here. So, there's some guys, you need to be patient with them. And I understand that, but it's like the way it is nowadays, if you're not competing for a starting job or starting by your sophomore year, you need to move on. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy to think. And I wonder if it goes back to that with the 105 scholars.
Probably. And
you're going to have depth. You're building depth with 105 scholars.
Yeah, I think so. And, we always talk about the difference between, for those that don't know that are tuning in, Goon played here in the 90s. I played here in the 2020s. So we're pretty much perfectly 30 years apart. It's a perfect split of old school, new school. We have these conversations. And it's so funny because back in the day, as you said, you are essentially cutting ties with someone if they're saying, hey, I want to go to the transfer portal. Hey, if you're not with us, you're against us, essentially, is what you are saying. The mindset was.
Well, that's
now,
James.
Absolutely, it is.
He's my age.
Right. Yeah. But you guys played against each other in high school. Big Goon over here. I think, did you have a sack on James Franklin or what?
That was just a controlled scrimmage. So, they probably blew the whistle before he could actually,
That's a great story. Shout out Miss Corey Smith, by the way. Thank you so much for that. And shout out her son, Corey Smith. It's going to be a great running back here. He's already balling out. I just think there is such a disparity of how different it is, because now it's us, it's everybody, and it's only going to be more and more as NIL goes on. And I tell people, look, we're just in the baby stages of this. We are not at the end. I think that's how people are almost looking at it. I don't know, where we're at now is crazy. We haven't even gotten there yet, Goon.
To what?
To the peak NIL. We're not there yet. This isn't that. I hate to break it to you.
No, I don't mind.
But
it's not the NIL. It's the pay for play that I need. That needs to be watched.
It's going to happen. It already is. Well, it's technically illegal when it's already happening.
It was just illegal then. Now it's just legal.
Well, we're catching up with the SEC. They've been doing it for 40 years. So now.
By the way, if anybody want to watch something funny, Google Shane Gillis and Nick Saban.
Oh my God, Shane Gillis.
He called him Alabama Jones, not Indiana Jones, Alabama Jones with the hat. And then he started saying, well, and then you can see Saban got a little. Oh, Saban got mad. Yeah, Saban was not happy by the whole thing, but he was like, well, the SEC's been paying players for years. Oh man, and Gillis is hilarious. Dude. Oh, he is basically the top comedian out right now, and for good reason. He's hilarious. But yeah, Nick Saban did not take kind to the fact that Shane Gillis hopped on the college football game day set and basically just went at Nick Saban's throat, and not it was a funny way. He's a comedian, but yeah, went right out. And then Nick Saban's like, I run my program that, we send all these guys to the NFL. That's how they get paid. Listen, I'm not here to get anybody in trouble. I was recruited by everybody. Alabama pays their players. I can promise you that before NIL. So I don't care what Nick Saban wants to say. He's lying, but we're in a damn good program. So he deserves, and he can yell at Shane Gillis if he wants. Goon, SMU, and I think it would only be appropriate to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, the Italian stallion, Don DeLuca. And I don't know this. Italian?
I guess. I don't know. I didn't know.
Really? I had no idea.
I had no idea. I couldn't have guessed.
He's like a sticker away from wearing the Italian flag on the back of his helmet.
I'm surprised he hasn't put it on yet, honestly. That would be great if he put that on.
It was like Big Dom on the Eagles side.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if I'm a good luck charm, but I started
the show, right?
I started my first series of Behind the Wheel. That is where I take Penn State, not even just student athletes, but Penn State personalities. And we take a car ride and just kind of put a GoPro on the windshield and we interview them and have a good time and laugh. I had Dom on and I posted that Friday afternoon. Next thing you know, 24 hours later, Dom has 2 interceptions, a touchdown, 6 tackles, and a sack. Listen, Goon, I'm not going to take any credit, but I'm just putting that out there. If you guys, I'm sure most of the viewers in here have seen it, but if you want to check that out, it is on my channel. I mean, how about it? I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, I mean, the offense, at first was struggling a little bit. Dom provided a hell of a spark to this team. I mean, that touchdown, we were going back and forth, and it was kind of like, are we going to get this going? Are we going to pummel this team? And the only reason why this was a blowout and not like a 10-point game was, I think, Dom DeLuca, and then you add in Tony Rojas. But LBU scored our first 14 points of the game.
I mean, this has been we talked about it on our show before, and that is, the noon kickoff, the bye week blues that Penn State football has notoriously had for decades, not playing well after bye weeks and stuff like that. And what a way to kickstart the offense if they're getting 14 points on the board in the first quarter from your defense. I mean, you can start out as slow as you want on the offense if that's the case, but then we felt them out. They threw a couple punches and this and that, and then we, defense destroyed them. By the way, hats off to the fans, man.
Oh,
absolutely freaking amazing. I was very warm. I was in a very controlled environment of 69 and sunny in the club box suite up in Beaver Stadium. So we had the windows closed, so we didn't really get the elements. We really couldn't hear that much, but I got to take my hat off to the fans because they stayed the whole 4 quarters, man. I expected at halftime to be 28-0. I was like, dude, half the people are going to leave right now, and they didn't. They stayed, and good job, fans. Way to go. It was loud and crazy, but just to get through a slow offense and a slow start. I mean, you kickstarted with 2 defensive touchdowns. That's all the start you needed. And then, I remember going in, and it was about 7 minutes ago in the second quarter, and I looked at OJ McDuffie and I said, Juice, I said, we just need to impose our will on these guys right now. Go on like this, 10-minute drive. And we went on this methodic drive that I moved down the field and just pound them. Took their will, and they were just done, man. SMU was fried. Our defensive line was just like absolute hawks yesterday afternoon, chasing the quarterback down. That kid had no idea
what
he wanted to do with the ball.
No.
And then the people from SMU were like, oh, he's good for at least three turnovers a game. And they're like, he hasn't even started fumbling yet. He's only throwing interceptions right now. Wait till he starts fumbling.
Oh, my gosh.
But he showed a lot of, he got hit a bunch.
Oh, he was getting killed.
He was getting murdered, and he was getting up every time. And,
Well, he didn't have any. It didn't really seem like he had receivers. I mean, before the game, I looked and I saw they didn't have a receiver over 600 receiving yards, and I'm like, oh boy, they better be able to run the ball, or it's not going to be good. And Zane Durant had something to say about that. Devon J. Thomas and company, Keziah Izzard in the middle. Those guys in the middle were not having any of that. And I just want to go back to you talking about the fans. There was talk all week. The fans, they're not going to show up. People tweeting there's going to be 25,000 seats empty. What are we going to do for the whiteout? 106,000 in attendance, and I think impacted at least 3 plays. The Penn State faithful made SMU use a timeout on 3rd and 16.
Correct.
They forced 2 false starts, I believe, very close within each other, and then we probably would have caused more false starts, but it got to the point where we were up so much, it almost took the fans somewhat out of it because we were just whooping SMU. The fans are like, all right.
When they were driving in the third quarter, and was it the first or second quarter when we went for it?
That was, I think that was still first quarter, I think.
20-yard line.
That was scary.
Was crazy. I think the risk reward was a little too much.
Yeah, I don't think that was
what it is. Marco was screaming, it's like Dan Campbell. He's like, Dan Campbell, he was going for it all the time. But then once that happened, and it's 14-0, I believe, at that point, they get the ball first and 10 at the 20-yard line, and they get a couple first downs, and they're first and goal, if I recall, right? When did they score? Yeah, they went for the 4th down, right?
Yeah, they went for a 4th down. Yeah, they didn't get it.
How about bringing your crowd into it that way? Going for it on 4th down, and then the crowd just said, "Okay, let's go. It's our time," and they just completely jumped in there.
What do you think was the loud? You think the Tony Rojas pick 6 was probably the loudest moment, or was it?
Again, I was upstairs in the control. We had it closed up because we had a bunch of.
Well, you can still hear. By the way, shout out TNT. You didn't get to experience it because obviously you were in the suite. Shout out, big
TV
Goon
up there.
Okay, well, you didn't really get to like hear it. So first off, I'll just tell you the TNT broadcast. It comes on. The game starts at noon. It comes on at 11 a.m. And it starts out Takeo Spikes, Champ Bailey. You got some good people, and they're up top in Beaver Stadium. And it starts. So first off, the sound starts to cut out, and it's clear. You can hear like the wind, and then it just like cuts, and then you like barely hear anybody, and it's like, what's going on? And then they go back to Takeo Spikes, and all of his papers just like fly away.
What was he doing? He did the TNT game?
Yeah, it was TNT. Yeah, it was like Adam Lefko, like that guy that does Bleacher Report, Champ Bailey, Takeo Spikes, and there was one other person. I think it might have been a running back or someone. But yeah, that was like the TNT crew they put together.
It wasn't the crew I watched. I watched a whole different set.
You were probably on College Game Day then. I mean, right? Because did they have multiple?
It was TNT and Max.
I thought it wasn't.
Roddy Jones was doing the game because it was OJ's buddy because he was texting him.
Right. I'm talking about the pregame though.
Oh, the pregame. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Right. Yeah.
Takeo Spikes next to like 36 inches.
Yes, it's still. They literally called him. They brought on Keegan Michael.
Key.
Key, and he started calling him trapezoids, and because they did the
regular thing.
Yeah, the funny names. Well, the OG introduction, the Sunday Night Football introductions, back when Key and Peele did that. So they kind of had him do that because they had him on the set, and he was like trapezoidus something, and Keel's still like this, like neck. If you want to talk about a neck, look at Abdul Carter's neck.
I feel bad for Takeo, by the way.
Why is that?
Because my last game at Penn State was his freshman year on our bowl game.
Oh no, what'd you do to him?
Oh, yeah, it was bad. Not him in general, but just his defense. They had just taken over.
Where did he go?
He went to Auburn.
Oh, really?
He played Auburn in the Rain Bowl. My last game at Penn State was in about 10 inches of rain at the Outback Bowl, and we played them. And we were a very, very old. We had 4 fifth-year seniors on the O-line and Bobby. So we had like 6 or 7 50-year guys on our offense. And they had just said, you know what, we're going to play the young guys because they just come off a little suspension or whatever. And then so they were all freshmen, their whole defense. I mean, all of them. And it was boys going against men, man. And it was in the rain. It was in the rain. So they were all slow as heck. Everybody was our speed.
Took away the SEC speed,
and,
huh?
Oh my goodness gracious! We stuff to those guys.
We talk about old school, new school. Like I feel like we have a lot of like similarities. We went down to, it wasn't Outback Bowl. We went down to Auburn and we spanked them, and it wasn't even close in 22. And what do you think of the Outback Bowl? Because personally, everybody that was here in like my era, we've been to the Rose Bowl. Some guys were even to the Cotton Bowl, and people say that. I think the Outback Bowl was one of the best. Sure. In terms of like being in Tampa and the stuff we got to do. I thought it was the most fun. I thought the Rose Bowl was awful because you're in Tampa. It's awful. I don't know how. So where did they put you guys? Because now there's the campus around. So they have like a campus around crypto.com, which was where the Lakers played for so long.
The Forum?
No. Well, no. Like the main place that or no, did I say Clippers? The Lakers.
Lakers played at the Forum.
Did they? Mm-hmm. What was crypto.com before? Someone's got to comment and let me know. I forget what crypto.com. It's like the famous place. Anyways, but there's like the campus there in LA, and you had to like stay on campus.
No.
And it was awful. It was like the worst thing ever. When we were down in Tampa, we got to go like beaches and like jet skis, and like it was the greatest time ever. So I really enjoyed it. That was my favorite bowl game for sure. But
don't kid yourself.
What's that?
The late night entertainment in Tampa is the best too.
Yes. Well,
that was the old stay away from these. This is what Joe used to bring the state troopers in, and every bowl trip we'd go to, it'd be like, you got to stay away from these areas. We'd all be like, okay, we're going there.
Okay, so we're gonna go there, there. So
that's what one time they were like, you got to stay away with this Orange Blossom Trail and like Orlando, and it's like you got to say avoid that. The meeting ended. Everybody's like, "There's 75 taxis going to Orange Blossom Trail."
Now it's like because you have your iPads in the meetings now, and that's how it is. You guys probably it would have been brutal. And Myles Garrett actually got a lot of fleck for because now Hard Knocks. They're doing in-season Hard Knocks, and there's cameras in the meeting rooms, and people caught Myles Garrett on his iPad sending text messages, and people were going in on him on social media. And I was laughing because it's so funny sometimes how like even you can't even understand it because you weren't there for it. But like nowadays, like that's kind of the culture. Like guys have their iPad and they will check personal things in meetings. Like, that's kind of where we're at now. Yeah. Guys will like send texts back and forth. You're like, the coach says something, and instead of like you just saying under your breath, like, oh, God, I hate this guy, you text like your friend and you're like, God, I hate this guy.
Wow.
That's the world we live in now with these iPads. So
and then the coach finds the iPad and he starts beating the crap out of you guys,
Exactly. That's
you'll learn your lesson then.
That's the risk that you run. That is absolutely true. So no, it's those trips are something, man.
We were out in the middle of nowhere. I told you there was a mall where we were, and we were walking around there. We had Penn State sweatsuits on, and people were like, "Who are you guys? What are you guys doing here?" I told you they were like, "We're only here for they were more interested in the parade than they were the game."
The Rose Bowl parade. That's all they care about.
That's all they care about out there. So
crazy.
I went to the Fiesta Bowl as a true freshman. That was amazing. That was just like.
Yeah. Wait, so what year is that? 90?
91.
Okay.
We played Tennessee, spanked them.
Nice.
Bad.
So we're going to the Fiesta Bowl, so let's take a second. Yeah. Give me a little bit of rundown of how you felt
it's all different because we were in Tempe where they played the original the Fiesta Bowl in '86.
Okay.
By the way, what's our record in the Fiesta Bowl?
Undefeated, right? Like 7-6.
What's Boise's record in the Fiesta Bowl?
Are they undefeated as well?
Both undefeated. We're 7-0 and they're 3-0.
They have, I think, the most memorable play in Fiesta Bowl history. Boise State has.
Might be bowl history.
In bowl history, yeah.
Yeah, the
little statue. I think they called it the Statue of Liberty. The handoff behind the back, and I think there was a 2-point conversion that they went for.
They had run the hook and ladder earlier.
Oh my God, that's right.
To get there.
Great team.
And then the dude proposed to his girl for the cheerleader. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the kid who scored a touchdown. He ran in the crowd and grabbed his girl and proposed. Yeah.
I mean, does it get more movie-esque? I didn't even know that. That's like Disney movie.
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
Amazing. So yeah, I mean, we'll get into Boise, but that team yesterday we saw our Penn State guys, man.
I wasn't even close.
Hat is off, dude. Man, they played well. They played great. Ready for the moment type of thing. The stage wasn't big and too big. You know what I mean? I don't know if the stage was too big for SMU because I told you Marco had been calling me all week, and Marco lives in Dallas, Texas, and he was on the show earlier this year. He was here this week and he came in for the game. Him and his wife. He's calling me. He's like, bro, all they're talking about is the weather.
Yep.
He goes, well, here we go, live to SMU's practice, and the coaches are talking about how they're wearing these and trying these and doing these to get these guys used to how cold it's going to be. And I'm like, it's just a football game, man. It just stinks for the crowd.
I think that got it. It got so hyped up in the media that it went into SMU, and it was like even I was feeding into it. I was like, they're practicing in 72-degree weather. They're not ready, and it really was a thing. And all the SMU fans came out on their private jets because it might be like the richest college, body I've ever seen. Bryson DeChambeau was out here actually.
Was he up there?
He was here. He came out on a private jet. I saw. With a couple donors. I can't imagine those type of donors they have, and that is why they are killing it in the transfer portal.
That's why they will kill it.
They have 20 out of their 22 starters are from the transfer portal.
You got to give Trey Bauer a lot of credit for that.
What's that?
Trey Bauer is the one who's been telling me for 6 months.
What?
Like SMU is the biggest sleeping giant in college football.
Oh, really? Okay.
With the amount of money that they have and the ability. Dude, they went to get the death penalty.
Yeah.
Because of how bad they wanted to win back in the 80s. These people have money and they want to win. They're going that you can buy. You can start buying athletes and buying players, and that's what they're going to start doing. And you still got to keep that team aspect, everything.
Wait, you were blocking for Tony Sacca?
I did not.
You were just a little. Spider told me, and shout out, by the way, we finally are going to have
the water story.
Absolutely. The Goon and Spider Christmas special. Had them over to my house. One of probably my favorite videos yet is coming out here Christmas Eve morning. I know it's not the most optimal time, but I got to get the post game out today, film breakdown out tomorrow. So, hey, it is what it is. But got some really cool giveaways coming in that video, and we got a lot of good stories too. But I remember Spider telling me the story about Tony Sacca, and they were playing Syracuse. I think in 90. Did you guys play Syracuse in 91 in the Dome, or was that
91?
It had to have been 90 then, or maybe something else, but a different year. But basically, Sacca throws a pick right before half, and he turns and he says to Joe, "The ball was wet. The ball was wet." And so Joe goes, whatever. And then they go to the locker room. And Spider's all, and he said he's in his locker like this. And he's, how was the ball wet? How did I let the ball be wet? And he goes, wait a second. How's the ball wet? We're in a stadium. We're in a dome. We're in a dome. And and then he goes over and he says, wait a second, we're in a dome. And then Saka's like, oh, man. And that was one of my favorite stories Spider told me, that just Tony Saka, man. Loved
he got screwed, man. He got forced into playing as a true freshman.
Really?
Yeah, he was.
Who was the quarterback before him?
Tom Bill.
Oh gosh, a lot of names that just I don't even know.
Tom had to go away, so he missed his senior year, and Tony got pressed into action later. He wasn't ready to go, but man, he was a big boy, big horse, man. And then his younger brother Johnny was in class ahead of mine. He came in with the Kerry Collins class.
Okay, what year was Kerry?
Kerry was 90.
90, okay.
High school 90. I was 91. Our class was 91. So,
gotcha.
I go back and I say, I've showed you that before. When I came into Penn State in 1991, there was 31 guys from the offensive side of the ball who went to the NFL.
And
just
greatest offense ever.
No, that was when we were kids. We were just young bucks. The 91 guys guys would go left in 92. There was 10 guys, 15 guys from that class went to the NFL.
Was the offense carrying you guys for a while in the early 90s?
It wasn't like that. It wasn't. No? Nah, we were always defense, big time defense, and that was the thing. And then freaking 94 happened, and it was just like, all right.
Exactly.
We weren't doing anything special in 94. I always just say, we were just better than everybody. And if everybody does their job on a football field and no one messes up, you're going to have a successful play.
It's going to be dang good.
So we were just. It was just one of those things. We were just better than everybody else, and at times we actually did walk to the line of scrimmage saying, "Here we go, we're tossing the ball to the right."
Yeah, right.
Here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Ball and tackle right.
Goon, I do want to mention this. It was Joe Paterno's birthday yesterday. Would have been 98, and I think it was pretty fitting that we had a nice playoff. Yes, sir. We had a nice playoff win on his birthday, and someone that felt like well before his time. I mean, in so many different aspects, was he advocating for where we are at now to a certain extent? Like he was before everybody else, but especially the playoffs. And I remember I saw the clip that actually Scott posted the other day, and it was basically Joe talking about, hey, there needs to be some type of game to decide this back. It was back in 94. And he was saying, how do we not have a game? And was even starting to talk playoffs. And this was back in the 90s. And here we are, like I said, on his birthday.
Tell me why.
Whoop up on SMU. What's that?
Tell me why.
Tell you why what?
Why, and I've said this a lot on this show, every sport that's competed.
Staples Center. Sorry, that was it. That's what I was looking for. Well, thank you, Big Ten Spirit. Remember, I couldn't remember.
Forum?
It was Staples. Was it Forum and then Staples? I don't remember it being called Forum. It
was the Clippers, John.
Dude, I thought they both played there.
Oh, okay, maybe.
I don't know. It was Staples Center. Forum, I remember that. Sorry for anybody.
Johnson and Kareem and those cats.
Okay, that was back in the day. Yeah, sorry to bring that back.
Kobe though.
Well, yeah, that's true. Sorry, we were talking Rose Bowl, and I was trying to say we next to Crypto Arena. I couldn't remember Staples. All right, sorry. Continue.
I don't know. We stayed out when we were out way out of town, and then on the night before the game, they put us down in the city at the Rose Bowl, and that's where
the city.
We were downtown.
Downtown.
Right, the night before New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Well, it was New Year's Day because we played on the 2nd. That was just, no one was there. He was one of those get away from everybody. So, but back to Joe. I mean, let's think about this. Every sport at the collegiate level, every sport, and every level, every Division 1, 2, 3, 1 AA, every sport has a end of year tournament, except for the most popular sport there. College football. Why? Joe lost the right to. I mean, I'll go out on a limb and say a lot of different things, but Joe was advocating for this in 68, 69. I mean, what were we doing? Voting, it was just insane. The best analogy I've ever heard for the whole, playoff thing versus whatever is there was an article John Feinstein wrote in a magazine called Inside Sports, and I have the article because there was a picture of me. I had it framed. And the article said, imagine that in the Final Four, the two teams that win on Saturday night, to go play for the national title on Monday, they leave Sunday morning, go back to their campuses, and they say, okay, who would have won this game? And that's how they picked national champions. Think about that.
We're doing SEC hypotheticals like everybody. Oh, they would have won this game. And not only
that's how it was, and it was so stupid.
It's so not only just like have people picking, but in my opinion, and us technically being two media members, but you're letting a bunch of people that don't actually know anything pick. I mean, and think about back in the day.
Back in the day, there wasn't the media coverage. There wasn't the television coverage. All you saw was the Sunday paper.
You just saw the score. And we're letting those people pick? That was insane. How did the NCAA get away with that?
I want to know why.
Someone needs to be sued.
It was the NCAA because they were making all of the money.
Yeah, why would you not want a national championship?
All of that money because the bowls. Now, that's my theory, and that is that the people who were running the bowls were the ones who were going to lose a lot of money. And they will.
Yeah, the bowl games pretty much any
six bowls now.
Yeah, they're going to make more money.
Yes.
But now there's other bowls.
But those other 41 bowls.
Everybody's opting out. No one wants to play in them. Nobody cares.
No one's traveling to them. So it's like
fans aren't traveling.
But then this has happened before the playoff too, though.
Right.
That was happening before the playoff. So I won't pinpoint that as being the. But
no, it's an accumulation
of these games, and players are not. They're opting out of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a fan,
understand that, but as a fan, it's.
I mean, if the player doesn't care, why should I care? As a fan, it's like, oh, half the players are opting out. I'm not going to go to that.
The old man advocated for the playoff in 68, 69 when he was undefeated those 2 years, and in 73, and he gets not even no national titles. It was insane. He was advocating for the playoff for a long time. He's advocating for paying players.
Yeah.
Forever he was talking about that. That was so the old man, you can sit there and say he was an old curmudgeon and that. That's not true at all. And that man was interested, and he would get you every dime that he could legally get you. Every penny that was out there, he would find out. He would get it for his guys, and he would be taking care of it because he knew the injustice that was going on with the how the players were paid, and the NCAA making hundreds of billions of dollars on the backs of college athletes, and we have no rights. Like I told you, Football Letterman's Club. I mean the quarterback club. When we couldn't eat there because that would be considered a violation. Like think about that.
Now players are paid lots of money to go to those.
Paid lots of money to go to those and speaking events and go do a TV show where we were. We could go there, but we weren't allowed to stay there. We couldn't eat there because that would be a non-bet. There would be a benefit that not everybody else has on campus. So that was above and beyond. Are you kidding me? So like I said, they would bring us to a lunch at CC Peppers and they give you $7.50. I'd say, here you go. Get whatever you can. Get whatever you want. If you go over, you got to pay out of your pocket. And you're like, dude, I spoke for you guys today. You guys, I couldn't go on campus to get my, to get my meal card because we were speaking at an event, but you're only going to give me $7.50 for a lunch.
We'll get you half of a sandwich. Right? That's the best we can do.
We can't put the Old Bay fries. We can only give you fries. No Old Bay on there.
Hold the Old Bay.
It's just, that's it. But the old man was really, really, really an advocate for getting guys paid, getting guys players money. Like he figured out that, it's okay for you guys traveled as so. I mean, go back here. My true freshman year, so that Fiesta Bowl I went to with Tony Sack and them. Okay, we flew out as a team. Historically, that's all Penn State did. But in 1992, there was some kind of thing where Joe figured it out that you can get an airfare from your hometown to the bowl site. You were given a first class ticket to the bowl site, and then you could keep the difference if you found a different flight. So when I played in the Rose Bowl in 1994, me and my little brother got checked for $1,400 a piece. And we found flights for $400, so we made $1,000. You know how much money that was to us?
Like $1 million at that time.
Absolutely was $1 million to us. Absolutely.
Was it like I'd ask, was it all spent at the Rose Bowl?
Well, we got money when we were there too.
You get the stipend.
We got the $600 bowl check.
Yeah, the bowl check stipend. Okay.
So that was a $1,600. So we had just won a national title hypothetically. Winning the Rose Bowl, we're back on campus, and you got $1,000 in your checking account. I mean, that 4-figure checking account. What's up, man?
End zone, here I come.
No, it's never been my thing. W.R. Hickey, here I come.
Exactly.
And then we're ordering late night food. We weren't ordering the $5 pizzas. We were getting the high end pizzas, the $7.50s, the $8 John. Come on now.
What was the nicest restaurant? You used to have Allen Street and
That's
Tavern.
What our show should be. That's what we're doing.
A little high end.
The little calf, the calf and the bull. Training table.
That is coming soon. Oh, that's what we're going to call it. It's got to be like training table.
I thought about
I like that.
Yeah.
For those that don't know yet, me and Goon coming in January.
I don't want to jump in and start talking about the restaurants that we had back then because we will get to that.
We're gonna get to that. Yeah, me and Goon, I don't know exactly what we're going to call it. Something training table. But me and Goon, starting in January, probably once a month. We'll see how it goes. We're going to go to a different restaurant, not just State College. We'll go like Bellefonte, State College, Bowlesburg, probably about that area. And we're going to do food reviews, old school, new school, offensive line.
I want to do reviews.
Well, not reviews. I
want to introduce here's the whole.
Well, okay.
You're new to the world.
We're not like.
I'm just introducing you to the world outside of you. You don't have your college points. You don't have your scholarship money coming anymore. You need to learn how to live in this world. This state college joint, it's
exactly.
Just,
you guys heard him. I'm pouring it. Exactly. I'm pouring it. So please like and comment and subscribe to help feed me. And no, you're right.
Yeah, you're off the scholarship.
I'm off the teat, man. It's over.
Wow.
And I'm now. That's what my girlfriend looked over at me last night. She said, "You are no longer in college anymore." And I said, "Well, dang, I can't. Yeah, I can't. I'm in college."
She was asking for a ring then.
I know. Well, now it's time.
The next conversation.
I know. And it's time to get down on. I guess it is time. No, well, actually, let's take a break real quick. We'll take one break. We got about 20 minutes left. And when we come back, we'll actually get into a little bit more from yesterday, but then we will talk a little bit of Fiesta Bowl and kind of the outlook of the rest of the college football playoff. So we'll be right back. And by the way, we are at the Student Bookstore downtown.
Speakerless.
No,
apologize.
Yeah, no speaker. Sorry about that. The speaker died out on us, but hey, we normally have the Nittany Lion mascot here. He's normally here at 11. He is not here because he just got the approval this morning to get flown out to Louisville. I don't know if our boy, the mascot, obviously identity is sealed, but one of my very good friends, and he got the call that he is good to go on the PJ out to Louisville to cheer on the girls. So shout out them, but we will be right back after this break here at the Student Bookstore.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen O'Habaker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen O'Habaker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen O'Habaker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
Get up and get going with the Happy Valleys 98.7 The Fox.
Oh, that was loud. My man Paul Clifford, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Shout out my man. He said, welcome to the world's largest alumni association. Paul, appreciate that very much.
Free membership for the first year,
I
right?
do get a free membership. Yep.
You get a free bowl of soup with that too, Paul. Congratulations.
Absolutely.
No, that's good, man. By the way,
it's all good.
I got to take I don't know if anybody was out there for that Friday night thing at the Spike Stadium with the Alumni Association.
Was there fireworks? I heard fireworks. I heard that from my house.
They had igloos. They had a hot chocolate bar. They had a bar. All kinds of rides and stuff like that. It was like a winter snowland. My wife was involved with it. Paul, obviously, with the Alumni Association, and Odile Parker and all her girls and all her people and all the ladies and the men at the Alumni Association has had a hell of an event Friday night.
Yeah, tip the cap to them. I heard those fireworks, and I assume that's what it was. So, yeah, shout out to you guys. Everybody named. Shout out Carrie, Mrs. Goon, and Paul Clifford, man, getting all that done.
They worked. I mean, I know our girl Odile, she worked very hard on that, and it was. I just got pictures, and the whole environment was like really freaking cool, man.
It's awesome.
It was really cool. So the Alumni Association, the Roar Tour, which will be in Tempe.
Oh,
yeah. All
right. Well, we will see you guys out there, Goon. Let's talk a little more SMU for 1 second. It's something that I thought was really interesting. Tony Rojas' pick 6.
It's 10:50 already.
It's already 10:50. Yeah.
Holy crap!
I know.
Dude.
I know. It's flown by. We're just having fun talking ball here.
This is the same conversation we have at my house or your house, just sitting here having a cup of coffee or a beer.
Yeah.
It's the same conversation.
Or a couple beers, and Red Zone channel. You know what goes on.
How does Steelers Eagles turn out for you, buddy?
Not good. And then
what about yesterday?
Not good once again.
Dirty birds.
Let me just tell you, it was the weirdest feeling ever because as a sports fan,
watching a Penn State game followed up by
I wasn't mentally or ready because let's think about it as a diehard sports fan. Your adrenaline spikes, your anxiety spikes for about 3 hours. It's one of the most unhealthy things probably ever. But it's like you only ever have one of those once a day. You don't ever have that. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, Penn State gave me a couple scares, but we handled SMU. And I'm like, I'm not emotionally ready to watch not only just a Steelers game.
You get that into the Steelers like that?
Oh, I get it. Oh, I used to cry. I used to cry when we lose.
We've heard.
You've seen it. Goon got to watch me.
We've heard the stories.
It's not good, dude. I'm actually my fandom of the Steelers is probably higher of that than Penn State almost. Like,
see, I only feel that way for Penn State. Penn State.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I have a lot more skin in the game with Penn State. So yes, I obviously am more into that. But like Steelers emotionally, I get so angry. And I just want to ask Sarah.
I think my NFL experience
kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
I see. That's
absolutely.
That's kind of why for example, number one, obviously never played in the league. But number two, I had an offer to break down Steelers film because you know how I do all the Penn State film breakdowns. Sure. I had an offer to do it for the Steelers. And I told the guy no because I was like, I don't want this ruined for me. I can't have Steelers football ruined for me because I can't see how the sausage is made, as Mike Tomlin and folks would say. You don't want to know the process of how it's made. I just want to be an angry fan and yell at the TV. So I do that. Actually, I just yell and whine and cry.
The Boz.
It's the Boz. Every time
the only guy you're cheering for is the Boz.
That's it. Because I have Najee Harris fumbling the ball away in the Eagles game, and then Russell Wilson, as much as I love him, Mr. Unlimited, decided to give the game away to Baltimore, a fumble and a pick six. So shout out him.
The sheer high of Penn State's victory was just destroyed.
It was. It killed it for me, but it's all right. We're still headed to the Fiesta Bowl. And speaking of that,
yes.
Tony Rojas, though,
yes,
I want to say that interception return, I don't think anybody else on the defense, if they were to have picked that off, I don't know if anybody's taking it back for 6 there because the juke moves that he put on.
You could see a little high school running back in his history.
I told people. So for those that don't know, Tony Rojas was the Gatorade.
Too.
Well, yeah, DeLuca's been around, but DeLuca played every single position known to man in offense. But I will tell you, Tony Rojas was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Virginia his senior year of high school, and he did not win because he played linebacker. Tony Rojas won the Gatorade Player of the Year in Virginia off of his running back abilities. He was a superstar at running back, so that definitely makes sense why he was able to take it back like that. And then, can we talk about? I mean, you didn't get to watch. I mean, you were in person, but on TV, you got to get an even better look. Poor 54 out there, the left tackle.
Like this guy's done. He's done.
He quit. 54. Their left tackle.
Just take my hand, slap him away.
Yeah,
hit the quarterback.
He was just like, Abdul, just run around me, and then he tried to tackle Abdul and tried to beat him up a little bit. And Abdul was just like, dude, I've been whooping you all day. This is what you want to do? Sure, go ahead. And that guy 54 is not having a good time. He was. I said at halftime,
Yeah.
they showed him coming out because I think SMU or whenever SMU got the ball first out of half, and they showed Kevin Jennings on the sideline, and 54 was right next to him. And I've known Savion Bird for a long time. Actually, went to Duncanville High School. He was a 5-star offensive tackle. Obviously, not necessarily living up to that fully, but I've known him for a while. And I tweeted out. I said, "This guy doesn't want to go back out there. He wants to. He's praying to get on that plane as quick as possible to go back to SMU and get in his nice bed." So Abdul Carter is probably giving him nightmares last night. That's a guy that's probably not checking his social media today. I could probably.
We got 7 minutes, so I do want to talk about this. Women's volleyball today is 3:00 ABC.
Oh,
unbelievable! Yeah. Just the story.
Semifinals is the greatest sporting event I've ever seen in my life.
It was pretty awesome.
I mean, reverse sweep. Enough said. Caroline Jaravicious
with Katie Schumacher and her situation. With Katie Schumacher, Cawley, the coach, with the breast cancer and stuff like that. I mean, think about that. Down 0-2. Who are you going to look for your inspiration? How about your coach, lady, who's sitting there with balding because she's going through chemotherapy during the game week, during the prep game week, and then how are you going to give up? You're not going to give up. That's your inspiration right there, what she's doing out there.
Yep,
so,
you're right.
Girls, get it today. We love you, all of you, man. Get it done.
Absolutely. And I was talking to Caroline Jaravicious, and she said that Katie has been at every single practice, doesn't miss practice, and it's kind of her outlet to get away from all that stuff that she has to deal with and get to just be a volleyball coach and what she was meant to do. And, man, you can't be more proud to be a Penn Stater. Obviously, the whole us going to the Fiesta Bowl is cool, but this is Penn State, what we're witnessing. And now here's a shot at a national championship today at 3 p.m. Shameless plug. I did a video with Caroline Jaravicious. You get to see me.
I can't wait for you to go to gymnastics meets and start doing some flips and stuff like that.
It's coming. Big Ten Spirit said, Landon, you need to do an episode of Game On with the Lion cheerleaders. It's all coming soon, man. I don't know where I'm going to go next. It might be hockey, wrestling. I think it's going to be hockey or wrestling. I will say though, I've never been on skates before.
Never. It's my favorite. One of my favorite sports used to be before the Flyers tanked. But I've never been on the ice in my life. No, not one time on an ice skate. Never. And I'm good friends with Guy Gadowski and everything. And he's always like, Goon, if I can find a pair of size 15 skates, I'll get them for you. And I was like, all right. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, I would fall pretty hard, man. I better have elbow pads on, knee, helmet, everything. So
it's gonna hurt. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. But it's gonna be an adventure here. And I've talked about it a little bit, but as I graduate here technically here in about a couple hours, I am planning on staying here in State College and being Goon Part 2. Am I right?
Yeah.
You and me are just gonna be doing radio shows here for the rest of the time.
The
Goonion. And we're gonna get we'll get Goon involved, and we're gonna do a lot of fun stuff. But I'm excited. We're gonna.
My advice is to go to wrestling.
Yeah,
take Kale on. He's been ducking me for a decade.
I look at Kale, and I've never been a wrestler. I've never done boxing, anything like that.
You sit there, you talk to Kale, and you just go.
I'll get twisted like a pretzel.
No, that's what he wants to do. I mean, first time I met him, he's looking at me, and I'm like, looking me up and down, and I'm like, bro, what's up? And I'm like, in his mind, he's probably looking how fast he can take me down.
Yeah, what movie?
How hard he can take me down, and Big Three fall hard. I could just see him, his jaws going,
tighten it up.
And I'm just like, you could not meet a nicer human being than Cale Sanderson, though. Probably one of the coolest, most down to earth guys in the world who has absolutely no cockiness about him whatsoever, and that's should be the cockiest man that we know.
Pretty much the greatest coach I've ever seen in my life. Just any sport.
He was even better wrestler.
Yeah, it's a scary thought. Can we listen?
Unbelievable.
We got to talk about Pat Kraft for a second.
Awesome.
Where we sit right now,
dude.
Oh my God! And we're talking about the coaches of James Franklin. We're talking about Katie. Mike Rhodes is killing it. Cale Sanderson's the greatest coach of all time in wrestling. I mean, it is unbelievable where Penn State sports is at right now. We have, like I said, basketball is on the up and up. We're playing for a national championship in volleyball. Penn State has a shot at a national championship. I mean, I can't remember the last time we were in this good a shape, just Penn State sports as a whole across the board. Did you guys, what was it like in the night? Did you guys have any really good years where other teams were?
2005, I know that we won every Big Ten title in the fall.
Oh, okay.
I remember, and that wasn't me. I was here as a GA then.
Right.
But I do recall that 2005 we won football, field hockey, women's soccer, and a couple other fall sports. We were number one across the board in those sports. But I mean, this was when, back in the day with Russ Rose and them winning 7 national titles in women's volleyball and stuff like that. We got a couple minutes, but yeah, that volleyball team, man. Good luck to the girls today. Good,
they deserve
absolutely,
it,
man. They deserve everything. Katie deserves it. There's a lot of football relations too. With Jared Vicious.
We got a lot. Well, what's funny too is
do you know how good her dad was?
Oh,
did you meet him?
I got to meet him, and when
how
I
tall
first, so that was my thing. Not only just tall, but just how big he was. So someone
the man
introduced
has
me.
a 40-inch vertical leap at 6'5".
See,
that's not human.
It's unfair. I get introduced to him outside of the Illinois game, and someone says, "Hey, this is Joe," and I didn't get
it was my tailgate, right?
I think it might have been you,
at the reunion.
but at the time I hadn't met Joe yet, and I know Caroline very well, very good friend of mine, and I say, "Hey, what's up, Joe? How you doing?" And he says, the person introduces me, says, "Yeah, he was on the '94 team," and I said, "Joe Jaravicious?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "You played wide receiver?" He goes, "Yeah," and I'm like, "No way."
The backup punter.
Well, yeah, I said that to Goon every time I watch the whole Illinois game and I hear Joe Jaravicious back to punt, and I'm like, what?
Yep.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, he was. When I met him, I thought there was no way that was a wide receiver. That he looked
big, thick
like
kid.
like a DN probably. Yeah. Like he's the size of a defensive end,
and he had a 40-inch vertical leap, bro. We went and did a celebrity basketball game one time, and he was like a sophomore. He was in my little brother's class, so he's 2 years behind me. And Kerry was an unbelievable basketball player. Kyle was an unbelievable basketball player. Like we probably could have had a team that could have possibly played in the Big Ten just from our team, just to be guys on our team.
Athletes,
but Joe has a 40-inch vertical and is athletic as hell. And him and Kerry were just like throwing like half-court alley-oops, and Joe's catching them behind his head and just ripping them down. And we're playing in Shenandoah, Pennsylvania, a little coal region town. And these people were like, what the hell's going on here? Like, you got Kyle and Kerry just dunking every other play, running through the lane. These guys are like, so I got it. I'll give myself a little self promotion here.
Ooh, right.
So I did a little drop step on the guy. I caught the ball on the in paint, and I just one dribble, drop step, and I just went bam. I jammed it home. And I'm running down the court, and the guy behind me is like, dude, my kids are in the crowd. Please don't ever do that to me again. Like, I was like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. And he was like, bro, my wife and kids are in the crowd. Oh. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. And he's like, yeah, please don't do that again. And I was just like, oh, my God, I'm sorry, dude, man. I just like totally.
Those are the best stories, especially when the football players go to play basketball, because they're so athletic. And a lot of guys could have played basketball. You talk about, like you said, a Joe Jaravicious, a Kyle Brady, whoever, like they probably could have played basketball if they wanted to. And I got a lot. I was actually talking to OJ McDuffie about that, because he is known.
He could play. Well,
back in the day, he had the basketball court down in Florida at his house, and he lives in the same neighborhood as Kajana Carter, who is obviously very good friends there. And he said that Scottie Pippen was also living in his neighborhood. So he said Scottie, the guys back when Scottie was on the Bulls,
buddies over.
They would come over and they would run games of like 3v3, 5v5, and it was. Heard it got pretty intense out there.
So there's this story with Bobby OJ in basketball, and that was that we were playing up at the Intramural building, and we would go up there every Saturday. I loved playing hoops growing up. Played all through high school and all. So we actually had some players out there, and somebody, a student, was taking the game way too hard and undercut OJ when he went up for a dunk, like undercut him. And OJ falls down right on his head and shoulder and this and that. So. We're being the offensive line, and we pretty much had this kid jacked against the wall. Like, what in the hell are you doing? And it's like you're just going to literally blow up an All-American, ruin his NFL career because for what? To say
stop the fast break.
Because you stopped the fast break, right? And this kid like fears for his life and stuff like that. So Joe said no more. We could not go to the IM building and play basketball anymore. We were furious. So then Joe said nope. And he built a basketball court up in Haluba Hall just for the football players, just for us. And I'm telling you right now, bro, if you have 105 guys, how many guys would be playing on a Saturday afternoon? I bet you 60 guys would be playing.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, and you're just running games all day in there, running games all day, And then we had enough talent on our football team. We probably could have put a 5 out in the basketball program.
The
But
Big
you
Ten.
should have seen how good the basketball games were that were being played in Hula Hall. When Joe just was only allowed us in there.
Well, I bet it was so much better because now everything is so specialized. A lot of these guys growing up, who knows, but let's say Abdul Carter probably didn't play as much basketball. He was focused on football.
He went to my high school. He didn't play basketball.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. You think Abdul Carter can play basketball? Absolutely. You think Abdul Carter can get up and do a 360 dunk? You're dang right he can. So, but they actually shout out Tyler Warren. He got a big shout out of his basketball tape, and the announcer on TNT actually told people to go watch it on YouTube.
It's unbelievable.
Well, the best part about it is that growing up, not growing, but being here, I was Tyler Warren's neighbor in 2 different houses. And so we spent a lot of time together. And if you're chilling with Tyler Warren at his house, he will say, "You want to see my basketball highlights from high school?" And so I tweeted out after the announcer on TNT said, "Go look up his highlights on YouTube." I said, a young Tyler Warren would die and keel over if he knew that on national TV, the announcer was telling people to go watch his basketball highlights on YouTube. Greatest thing ever. And speaking of that, back when this is probably after Tyler's 3rd year, so, wasn't at all considered where he is now. And you said you guys were running games. We would run games out at the yards, and that is where a lot of the guys live, and it was official visit weekend. So it's June, nothing's going on here except official visits. Nobody's here, and we just have a good time. So we all are at the yards. There's probably 100 folks down by the pool, and then there's basically this big garage door that you pick up, and that is where it's just a half court. And Tyler Warren, Nick Dawkins, and Olu Fashanu were running threes. And obviously, it's king of the court. If you win, you stay on. I think they stayed on for 12 games until they quit. And it wasn't even, shout out my man, Nick. Obviously, his dad, as Pops, is a legend, as you know. Daryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder. Nick has no basketball ability. He was just straight up Dennis Rodman, rebounder and just trying to beat guys down. Olu was decent, but also that was his board man. And they were just kicking it to Tyler. Tyler lefty, just popping threes. Tyler would come down the lane and just windmill dunk on someone. Watching football players get to play basketball is a treat. But obviously, when guys start to get better and better, it doesn't happen anymore because I've had multiple friends that were going into NFL years for their college team. Terry, pop your ACL in June. Well, there goes your shot. So many guys kind of get away from that. So you'll see that less and less. But nonetheless, very cool memories. Well, Goon, that about wraps it up here. We actually even went over. We are playing in the Fiesta Bowl, 7:30 p.m. on December 31st.
New Year's Eve.
Cool. Boise State, we are actually now going to be bigger favorites than we were against SMU. And then after that, it is probably the Orange Bowl, from my understanding. Who knows? I believe the higher seed will get to pick which semifinal bowl they get to go to. That is my understanding. So let's say Oregon beats Ohio State. Oregon will get to decide. Do you want to go to the Cotton Bowl? Do you want to go to the Orange Bowl? Which one are you picking?
Oh, whoa, really?
Yeah, no, that's how it works.
Dude, if it's Cotton Bowl, I got peeps down there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, that's completely what it is because everybody's just
too.
said no matter what, it's Orange Bowl, but that's not at least from what I understand. This is the most confusing college football's ever been. But from my understanding, the highest seed gets to choose which bowl they go to, and then it just gets funneled from there. Then the other people just have to go to that one. So I don't care, Cotton Bowl or Orange Bowl, we're having a good time. We're down in Texas or we're on the beach in Miami, Goon. We're having some barbecue or it doesn't matter to me. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see you down there. I think that's January 9th. There we go. Okay. So
and then the national title game is Inauguration Day, a.k.a. it's also MLK Day.
Oh, all in one day. Wow.
MLK Day, inauguration, and the national titles.
There we go. National title, most important thing that day.
Great show, great year,
Goon,
man.
Absolutely. That will wrap it up here for our shows at the Student Bookstore. Be on the lookout. I will be doing a lot of shows here at the Student Bookstore as the spring.
Eat, right?
Gotta eat, man. So we're going to have some student athletes up here at the Student Bookstore downtown. Make sure you guys come on down to Big Blue on the corner. Get any and all of your Penn State needs here. And then also cap and gowns are being sold here, obviously. Probably a little late if you're looking for one today, as graduation's in a couple hours.
Call for you?
They did. They got me right. I shout out Thad here at the Student Bookstore. They hooked me up with my cap and gown. Yeah, I just realized that. Sorry, Thad. But
you're going to use pictures,
I'm going to use it for pictures. So it's still being put to use. But I just decided for those, hey,
Where's your pictures?
Instead, they're coming.
Where?
Well, I don't know. Probably Old Main or something, huh? Right?
The
Should I do
Nittany Lion?
I got to go to the shrine. I got to do the whole like "We Are" sign, Beaver
sign.
Stadium, do the whole thing, all that good stuff. So I already took some pictures in Lash Football Building with Dom DeLuca, my boy, my roommate, and a couple other folks. So that was good. But yeah, graduation is here. So shout out to everybody. If you have any family graduating, congratulations. But that wraps up me and Goon here, Student Bookstore on Sunday mornings 2024. We will be back in the future, Goon. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, Bubba. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you tuning in.